Hi class, this is your instructor Mark Duncan. I apologize for the problems we've been having on my side in making these audio PowerPoints. Um, it's in part, I think, due to the file sizes and the software that I've had that's just slightly dated, but I'm looking for different venues and avenues to get them to you. So hopefully this one will work. One thing's for sure is evident that I've got to keep them reasonably short, which is good for you. So what's the difference between e-commerce and e-business? Well, e-commerce is literally doing business on the web, and e-business is the infrastructure of software and hardware in place and all the connecting services that allow us to do e-commerce. You can do e-business. You can use IBM services, for example, to handle your accounting without necessarily doing e-commerce. They're doing e-commerce with you. You're just managing your company. You're not necessarily selling anything online, say. Again, e-business is the uh, digital enabling of transactions involving information systems, and the IBM example I think, is a good one. Why is the internet so good as a business tool? Well, it's ubiquitous. It's basically everywhere anymore, and where it isn't, Google is making sure with all kinds of tools to make sure it is truly ubiquitous. Global reach allows for niche niche marketing, but if your marketplace is global, even a niche is deep. What's that mean? Well, there's 7 billion people, something like that, in the world. If you have a half of a half of a half a percent, do the math. That's still a large market, target market. Universal standards allow us to talk, for the most part, anywhere in the country. It's regulated in some places to some extent. You can interact with people, whether it's a customer or a peer-to-peer, whatever, and you can exchange rich information, which is valuable quality information in and information density, which refers to the actual quantity of information. All kinds of services have spawned from its ability to personalize and customize, from the way Dell changed their business model in the mid 90s to produce customized operable uh, laptops and desktops, to Pandora and Amazon, which tell you in one case what business you like, and another what books you like. The internet is really a connection of all the hardware, the computers worldwide, which allows multifunctioning of tasks for work groups, businesses, so on and so forth. It was started by the military, by the government in the 60s as a mechanism to ensure, in case of a nuclear attack, that military bases and research institutions that they were engaged with could still communicate. Web is an advent of the 90s, mid 90s, and it really began in the late 80s, but it took off from a business perspective in the mid 90s with the advent of HTML docs, which allowed people to view text and graphics rather than uh, just exchange documents and emails, which had been the case up to that point. Now we're looking at a mobile platform. This is becoming the new way of engaging with the internet and consuming information. I think it's largely generational for different reasons, but your kids obviously are very comfortable with mobile apps, as probably most all of you are as well. I'm not so much for different reasons, but I'm comfortable with the internet. I wouldn't say I'm a dinosaur by any stretch. Um, all this bodes for a changing world. Your kids will live in a different world 10 years from now than we all lived in 10 years ago. It's kind of amazing the pace at which things are changing. I think somebody, maybe Jeff, said it's hard to keep up with the change. Not quite sure how he said it, but something to that effect, and it's certainly true. The Internet of Things is going to keep the process and the opportunities growing. There's a video here, a TED video on the Internet of Things that I would encourage you to watch. And going forward, when you're looking for opportunities, there's primarily, they fall into three categories: technology, business, and society. Those are where the impacts and the opportunities will emerge and occur. And we'll talk more about that later. So for now, this is it.